So the first Cybertruck just got into an accident, and you can see that the other car does not look good. Yeah, it looks pretty bad, but I'm sure the person that was in this car is okay. He doesn't look that bad. And here's the damage on the Cybertruck. This is just a plastic part, so you simply get a new one and you just snap it back on. It's pretty much an easy fix. You might need to add these bottom parts here for you to snap this cover on, but it's very easy to fix. And over here, as you can see, the Cybertruck got new paint. So you just simply wipe that off and it should be okay. Over here, this might be a slightly deeper scratch, but you can still get that out pretty easily. And this door to me appears to be fully closed, but obviously there is a gap here. So that's the hardest part to fix probably, but even this shouldn't be all that too hard. It has been confirmed that it was the fault of the Toyota driver and that the Cybertruck was not using FSD or even autopilot. The Toyota driver as well as the Cybertruck driver both had no injuries, although the Toyota itself suffered major injuries. And we actually have footage of the aftermath of the accident, video footage as well. You can see the Toyota right here. It looks really bad, and the Cybertruck is over there. Actually, from the distance, it doesn't look bad at all. You can see that door issue there. But yeah. And if you want to do a Cybertruck crash test, the good news is Tesla is sending out more Cybertruck Foundation series invite emails. So check your inbox if you want to get one. Here's a bit of good news. Starting on January 1st, Maine, a state in the US, will be increasing their any income EV rebate to $2,000 up from $1,000, and it is also increasing the truck MSRP limit to $80,000. So the Cybertruck will certainly benefit from that. And a lot of Megapacks have been spotted again in Lathrop. It is not quite a record, but it is pretty close. I can't wait for the Megapack factory to be finished in Shanghai. Last quarter, Tesla's energy deployments equaled almost 4,000 megawatt hours. Tesla Chan assumes that this quarter it's going to grow to 5,000 megawatt hours. He then put all of this in a chart, and if we do have such a quarter, which, you know, would be really, really nice to have, but it's not like that's completely impossible. And even if we just repeat Q3, the number will still look incredibly impressive. Double, more than double the energy storage deployment that we had in 2022. That's crazy growth. But you know, Tesla is just an auto company. It doesn't matter that the energy business is growing exponentially, because obviously even if you grow exponentially, you will never catch up to the Tesla's auto business. So yeah, we should ignore the energy business completely, because if you keep doubling every year, you will still never beat the auto business. Absolutely nothing to see here. Don't mind me, I'm just setting a reminder for myself to buy more Tesla stock. Remember the two senators that just wrote a letter to Elon Musk calling for another Tesla recall? Gary Black has some really good points about these two senators. Those who think the Reuters article was the impetus that led these two senators to write a letter to Elon Musk urging an expanded recall do not get how the media functions. The two senators have teamed up before to pressure Tesla. In 2022, the pair wrote a letter to Musk raising concerns about Tesla's braking functions. In 2021, the two authored a letter to the FTC seeking an investigation into advertising of Tesla Autopilot. Like the boy who cried wolf, most people in Washington, D.C. do not take these two seriously given their frequent letter writing activity. Despite the union trying to sabotage Tesla in Sweden, this year the Model Y is going to be the best-selling vehicle in Sweden anyway. If you didn't know, Rivian is working on R2, which should be a vehicle that starts around $40,000 or $50,000, and it will be a mid-sized electric SUV, so we should keep an eye on that. The Rivian R2 is expected to be unveiled for the first time next year before launching in 2026. Here are some really insightful numbers that Alexandra shared. you can see how many EV models by price range you will find in China, North America, or Europe. You can see that China has so many EV models below $30,000. The US has almost none, and same goes for Europe, but there is huge demand for these cheaper models, I believe. And despite Tesla being in this more expensive price range, Tesla is still doing so well in China. So imagine what's going to actually happen once Tesla enters that cheaper segment. And despite having much lower GDP, China actually leads in BEV adoption over here. That's because you can simply buy a much cheaper EV. The same will happen in the rest of the world once these cheaper EVs hit the market. Cheaper, good EVs. And here's the average retail price of electric cars available in the first half of 2023. These are from Chinese brands in the following countries, and these are from non-Chinese brands. As you can see, the price differences are huge. Of course, it is important to keep in mind that the Chinese automakers, they first entered the cheap segments, whereas all of these other automakers are generally trying to go after the high-end market first and then work their way down. The Chinese are doing the opposite, at least to some extent, certainly. I covered this story yesterday that Tesla is reportedly expected to set up its India manufacturing plant in Gujarat in India, and the article specifically mentions car manufacturing, so we can rule out the possibility of Tesla building a manufacturing facility to produce energy products. Now, mind you, these are not sources that are coming directly from Tesla, so it's not like it's 100% confirmed, certainly not. But the way it is written, it presents a high probability that the factory will be built there unless something changes. But interestingly, Troy says that the Gujarat factory Tesla is planning in India is for the Model 3 and Y. I am personally convinced that it will also make, if Tesla builds a car plant there, that it will also make the next generation vehicle, because a cheaper vehicle in India is just going to sell much better than the relatively expensive Model 3s and Model Ys. I mean, over here in the US, it's not really an expensive car, but in India, a Model 3 would be a bit pricey. Troy, by the way, is one of the very best Tesla analysts to follow. For deliveries, he is the #1 person to follow. Now, he mentioned that there's something about the Model 3 and the Model Y in this article, but I can't find anything in here. I was able to find that Tesla wants to sell Model 3s and Model Ys and a new hatchback in India, although it doesn't specifically say that Tesla wants to produce a Model Y or a Model 3 in India or the next generation vehicle. So I'm not quite sure what Troy means here, that the Gujarat factory Tesla is planning in India is for the Model 3 and Y. Maybe I'm missing something. And Troy says Tesla is trying to figure out if they can sell a few thousand Model 3s and Ys in India. It has nothing to do with the compact car. And he says that his old post is still correct, which has 2 points. One, that the next generation vehicle is not going to be built, or the compact vehicle specifically is what he says, is not going to be built in India, and that Tesla's sales potential in India is practically zero for the Model 3 and Y. Now, Tesla does not sell any vehicles in India, so I think it is important to point out that this is a matter of opinion. My opinion is that if Tesla builds out, for example, superchargers, I think there would be some demand for the Model 3 and the Y. How much, though, is the question. Less than 1,000 a year seems a bit low. But of course, if you don't have the service centers and you don't have the superchargers, then why would you want to buy a Tesla? So if we are talking about current demand without Tesla doing anything, I think Troy is probably right about this. But Tesla doesn't just enter the market and not open any service centers, not open any superchargers. No, Tesla builds out the whole infrastructure. Usually Troy's points are based on fairly good logic and assumptions. So I'm wondering why he thinks that if Tesla builds a car factory in India, why would that factory not make the next generation vehicle eventually? I'll keep you all updated about what Troy says next. The Nasdaq told Faraday Future it is at risk of being delisted because its share price is under $1. At risk of being delisted. I guess when someone pointed out that risk, the stock just went down even more.